Pat, people are in the locker room. The guys that we've talked to on these Zoom meetings have raved about Ryan Tannehill's skills as a leader and saying what he wants and getting guys to do what he wants them to do. Is that an attribute that you see out of a lot of quarterbacks that you've coached, or is that something that only certain ones have and have to develop?
I think there's, different leadership styles. Everyone's a little bit different. I think the important thing is that it comes from a place that's authentic, Ryan has a really good rapport with his teammates. They listen to him. He's earned that trust. And I really like the way he's stepped up, particularly this year, coming in, as the starter. And really has done a good job of being an extension of a coach on the field. And that's really what you want from your quarterback.
David Buckler.
Pat, I'm curious. Last year you had Tannehill and Marcus in that room, two experienced quarterbacks. The year before that, Marcus and Gabbert, two experienced quarterbacks. This year, 2/3 of that room is really shy on experience. Does that change the way you have to run position meetings right now?
Not necessarily. I think, Logan, even though he was on IR last year, he was in every single meeting. And I really grilled him every day to stay on the plan, and he did. Like, he knows this offense. He's done everything we asked him to do. And he and Ryan have a good relationship too, which helps. So, not really anything differently. Obviously, we have a rookie in the room. So, there's extra time that needs to be spent with Cole outside of our normal quarterback meetings. And that's kind of what approach we're taking.
With Woodside, everybody's expressing a lot of confidence in him, but at some point you need to see him on the field, right? Or is there anything you see that tells you, yes, this will be fine when he gets his opportunity?
Well, he's done everything we've asked him to do. We set an individual development program for Logan, a long time ago, and it was demanding of him as far as him mastering the offense, the physical part when he was healthy, and then his individual plan, growing as a pro. And he really hit all those marks. I kind of go back to, he's had some pro snaps, and it wasn't the NFL, but he had some pro snaps as a full-time starter in the Alliance, and that really helped him. And certainly he carried that over the preseason last year, and, he did some good things. So he's earned the opportunity right now to earn the job, and that the rest remains to be seen. We've had a lot of walkthroughs lately. It's been an acclimation period for the players, and we'll start amping up here a little bit more as far as getting everybody on the field and putting the pads on.
Eric.
Hey Pat, kind of just right along those lines. I'm curious what specifically you're looking for in terms of what you're trying to see from Logan in these training camp practices, especially with no preseason games as he tries to cement that backup role for himself.
Yeah, consistency, his approach every day, which has been good. Him being able to operate our offense, he's shown the ability to do that. I anticipate him being able to continue doing that. Logan knows it's a day-to-day evaluation, and again, he's earned the opportunity to compete for it. We all feel good about that, and we'll see how it plays out on the field.
Joe Ruckshaw.
Yeah, Pat, following up on that as well, you mentioned the plan that you put forth for Logan. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that entails, and maybe if there was a part of that where he really excelled or even, exceeded expectations that has him in this position right now?
Yeah, we said call it IDP. It's an individual development program for all of our players, and they're all different, and a lot of those things are kind of proprietary in nature, but they're things that deal with the physical part, the mental part, and certainly learning how to be a pro. And so we have a lot of resources here for our players, anywhere from nutrition to Chick, his player development, to Frank and his weight staff, the coaches. There's a lot of resources here. And in Logan's case, he really took advantage of all those resources that we have. And again, he's at a point now where he's going to get an opportunity, and the rest will be really up to him.
Okay, can you give me one thing?
Master
Maybe
the
what he
offense.
did? Yeah.
Master the offense. That's for any quarterback. That's it's a challenge, and then mastering it and then performing it, in a timely manner, is not for everyone. If it was easy, anyone could do it. So far, Logan's done a good job of that.
Thank you.
Luke?
Hey, Pat, appreciate the time. As you've seen Ryan grow with this team throughout this year and last year as he went from backup to starter, what have you seen him do to sort of take control and I guess make this team his own as he's moved into a bigger role?
I think he stepped into a situation, when he was the backup and then stepped into the starting role. And I think, you'd have to ask Ryan, but I've heard him say that, he just wanted to perform with actions, less words, more actions. And the way he played really, solidified him being able to come in now and really have a little bit more of a voice that he feels comfortable with. And it's been really good. And, he's a decisive player. When he makes a decision in the passing game, that ball's out. That's something we really strive for in our room. And he's physically tough. And the leadership has just been excellent. And his approach every day, he's the same guy every day. And when you're the same guy every day and the way you approach things, not just on the field, you build trust that way. And so the players trust him, and we certainly are glad he's here.
Not even just with Ryan, but with quarterbacks in general, what does it look like as they find the balance between demanding what they want and figuring out what they want with game plans and things like that versus listening to coaches and listening to teammates? What does that balance look like?
Well, it's a careful balance, but the one thing that I really, like and that Arthur leads us, as far as our offensive staff, is that there's open communication. I think in our quarterback room, it's more of a collaboration. We talk about a lot of different concepts and things and have conversations almost like a business meeting. And some things stick on the wall, some things, don't. And then we put it together and to a common goal of what we're trying to achieve for that particular play or that game. And so it's really it's almost like a business meeting, in the quarterback room and with Arthur in a real positive, constructive manner.
Terry McCormick?
Pat, how important is it for a quarterback to have a safety valve type of guy that he knows he can get the ball to, and he's going to move the chains, he's going to catch it, he's going to, pick up the crucial third down plays like that? I guess Adam Humphries is kind of set for that role this year. How important is that type of guy to every quarterback?
I think it's trust, and that's huge. The relationship between quarterbacks and receivers is an intimate one. And there's body language involved in it, and knowing what a guy is going to do on a particular route. There's consistency in the receivers play and the quarterback play where they believe and trust in each other. That communication goes on quite a bit, and that goes back to leadership from the quarterback position, is involving those conversations and those sidebar dialogues that really create that trust. And when you have that, any quarterback will tell you that's when it really gets fun, because the ball will come out a tad earlier, and you have more success when those kind of things happen.
Paul Koharski?
Hey, Pat, good to see you. Two quick ones, if I may. Wondering if there was any one specific technical thing that Ryan worked on in the off season, no matter how small.
He's one of the more sound quarterbacks that I've coached as far as his technique, and he is very critical of his own technique and is constantly monitoring it. He practices very, very hard in our individual drills, and he is very consistent. I think, sometimes Ryan, sometimes we need him to know when the journey's over on a play. We don't want him getting some of those hits he takes. That's one thing that if he can, to kind of know when the journey's over on a play, maybe throw it away or maybe slide if need be. But other than that, he's really technically sound.
Wondering too about Shane. You saw him as a somewhat younger man in Houston. You surprised at all at his progression, or is this what you expected for him in becoming kind of Mike's right hand man? And he seems to be on kind of a fast track.
I think it's awesome, and he's prepared for it. He knows this defense. He was in Houston. I was with them. I was there 3 years. I was with Bo for 2 years there, and he's definitely ready for it. I'm excited for him. He's an asset to have, and I'm glad he's here, and I'm glad he's doing it. He deserves it.
What is it about him? He have some extra mojo magic? All those guys that seem to have something.
Shane's intelligent. He's a great teacher, and the players respect him. And he's certainly been around Braves for quite a while and understands what Braves wants, really, really well. So I'm glad he's here, and I'm glad he's doing it. I'm excited for him to do it.
Thanks a lot.
David Beauclair.
Pat, you mentioned Tannehill's decisiveness. I'm curious, based on your experience with him, do you have a sense of how much of that's a product of experience and how much of that, or versus how much of that is just a personality trait?
I think it's a little bit of all the things you just said. And I think it's a belief and confidence in the system. And we all have a lot of confidence in what we do offensively, and Ryan does too. And I just think that it's just a lot of what we do is in the passing game is on rhythm. And he certainly is built for that. And it's fun to watch. That ball comes out. He makes a decision. That ball comes out because he knows where he wants it to go, and he knows the system. So all those things kind of work together.
How often does he know, even before the snap, where he's going to go with the ball, do you think?
Yeah, you'd like to. I joke with the quarterbacks that they have to use the Force, Star Wars. So, but no, we try to do a lot of film study. We try to game plan for what we're trying to accomplish on each particular play. And there are some plays where, as a quarterback, you know the look you're getting, and that helps the ball come out. And that comes with training and studying and preparation. And as a quarterback, when you have the answers to the tests before the ball snap, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
We've got a couple of new people to the group, so we may have some repeat questions here, so bear with us. John Glennon.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Hey, John.
Hey, just wanted to ask you, you guys were so good last year in terms of getting yards after the catch. How did Ryan Tannehill factor in that, and is it reasonable to think that could be, reproduced again?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. One is the execution of the play, protection up front, the ball coming out in a timely manner, receivers getting the ball a little bit earlier and playing with a lot of play strength. And then, Coach Moore and Arthur really do a great job, and Coach Vrabel sets a tone that, to finish longer than the guy with the ball. So our receivers and everyone blocking downfield and really, finishing to the echo of the whistle, and people getting blocks downfield. And, it takes all 11 guys. And when you play like that, then, good things can happen, and you can get the explosive plays that you mentioned.
Yeah, and just one follow in a bit of a different direction on the Logan Woodside front. The fact that there are no preseason games this year, I guess, obviously makes a little bit harder for evaluation. But do you feel that, last year and seeing him in the preseason last year as well, does at least give you some working knowledge of him, on a bigger stage?
Yeah, we have, there's some evidence of him being able to produce and operate the offense. He also had some snaps as a starter in the Alliance. He started and did some good things there, and had to live that life as a professional starter in that league. So there's some evidence there, and really, he's really done everything we've asked of him. There was a lot of things we asked of him to accomplish over the past year, and really longer than a year, because he was here, I think, in 18 for a little while on practice squad. And he's really done all the things we've asked him to do. But again, he knows it's a day-to-day situation as far as competing, and he's being evaluated every single day. And right now he's put himself in a position to have an opportunity. and we'll see where it goes from there.
Got time for maybe a couple more, Teron?
Good to see you, Coach Pat. My question in regards to the continuity you guys have, it's been maybe 3 years or so since the same quarterback and OC are returning for a following year. How much does that play into Tannehill, being able to play fast and make those decisions that needs to happen to execute the offense?
Well, it certainly helps. A lot of players back, like you said, Teron, and same coaching staff on our side of the ball. So these are things to build on, and you can kind of focus in on little details of each play, of each concept. You can tinker with some things, and it helps as far as teaching. And with the abbreviated kind of different off season we had that was virtual, that certainly helps. So we're excited about getting going. We're excited about getting kind of going full speed on the field. It's kind of been an acclimation thing going on, getting the players up to speed physically, and it'll be fun to kind of get everybody out there and put some pads on and get rolling.
Thank you.
Jim White, did you have one? We got time for one last one if you got one.
I did. And how you doing, Pat? Appreciate your time. Good to see you.
Two.
I had some for Woodside, but you've hit on him a lot. I'm going to ask you about Cole McDonald. I'm sorry if you've been asked about him previously, but what have you seen from him, and what kind of challenge does he face in a camp without a preseason and when you're going to need to get reps for some other guys?
Yeah, Cole's, working hard. It's hard being a rookie quarterback, and then when you have a virtual off season, you're not able to get your hands on that rookie quarterback in the off season for that 9-week program that typically, you have. And so he did a good job in the virtual sessions, and now physically, you're just kind of getting going here. So he's coming from a very different system, and it's a day-to-day. Won't get 1% better, and that's kind of the role for him right now. And it's just really day-to-day and just kind of getting him up to speed.
And how encouraged were you that Logan kind of stepped up and helped lead some of the guys in the workouts here in Nashville, and that maybe not surprise you?
It was awesome. We set a plan for Logan, and I kind of told him last year, when he was on IR and he was working really hard, I was like, I want you to win that off-season program, award. And he did. Like, he worked extremely hard. He got a place right down the street, so he was nearby, and he was able to get the guys together when a lot of guys couldn't be together and throw. And he trained, and he changed his body, and he's done the things that we've asked him to do. So now he's put himself in a position to compete, and it's a day-to-day thing and evaluation for him, and he knows that.